Hello, everyone. Thank you for tuning into Mind Matters with Kay. I have a very special guest, Crystal Hicks. She is the owner of Let's Talk About This podcast, and I was fortunate to be on her platform several times. So now she's gracing her presence on mine. Hello, Crystal. How are
Yeah.
you today?
Hey, Kay. Hey, it's good to be on your platform. I'm excited and congratulations on, having you having your podcast. So I'm excited to be here. Thanks for inviting me too.
Of course. Thank you for accepting. I appreciate it. I appreciate it.
Yeah.
How was your day? Was your day good?
It was pretty good today. I didn't do too much today outside of doing it. I had one interview today, and other than that, you know what I did? I relaxed all day today, because I was in Atlantic City for the Labor Day weekend,
Okay.
and I did a lot of walking, so that wore me out. So, on the boardwalk,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
going hanging down at the beach bar with a couple of my girlfriends, but today I was so worn out. I said, you know what, I'm just gonna sleep today.
Yeah.
you know
Listen, I get it. My girlfriend had a
yeah,
fish fry on Friday, and then I bartended my cousin's birthday party on Saturday. And I didn't get home till like 5. Like I literally slept, was in and out of sleep all day Sunday.
yeah,
Yesterday, I was still lazy. This morning to get up for work, I was like, I don't want to go. I was still so
yeah,
tired. Like
I know it
it's
catches up
crazy. It does.
yeah,
Like when I was younger, I could go. Like
yeah,
what?
I
Now,
know
man
now.
down.
Yeah, it take me 2 days to recover now.
For real. For real. My God. Ugh. But
Yeah,
I'm glad you had a good weekend and you got to
yeah,
enjoy it with friends that means a lot, and that also helps you to replenish,
right,
and just kind of getting out of reality for a bit and just being able to be with people you love and,
right.
enjoy being around. So that's super dope. I'm glad that you had that time.
Yeah, yeah, it was nice. It was really nice. We got out there on the dance floor and we
Hey,
danced.
all right. All right now.
We had a good time. We had a really good
That is
time.
awesome.
Then we stopped. Where did we go? Did we stop somewhere? We I'm trying to figure out where we ate at.
Mhm.
Did we eat? Or did we eat? No, oh, we went to this place called Piccalillions. Um I've never tasted chicken wings like those chicken wings. That was like the best chicken wings I ever had.
Yeah.
And yeah, my girlfriend, she was like, I got to take y'all to this place on the way to Atlantic City. She said, I got to take you to this place called Piccalillions. I said, okay, let's stop there. Oh my God, I got to go back again. I've never had chicken wings that good. I was like, those chicken wings was, I mean, they had buffalo tails, buffalo, um, what do they call it? Buffalo butt. I ain't never had that, but it was good. But yeah, it was good. And then chicken wings, and then it had scallops, I think it was. But yeah,
Okay.
it was the food was phenomenal. I was like,
Yeah.
where'd she find this little joint at?
Right, right. And
Yeah,
after a certain age, you travel for the food. Like that's really what gets you excited is to
you
try different foods
yep.
and explore.
Travel.
So yeah,
Yep. I travel to eat now.
yeah,
Yep.
I'm with
Yeah.
you on that, girl.
Yeah.
Trust me.
Yeah.
So
It
you
was
are
good.
joining. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Now I was gonna say it was a good mental wellness day for us, to get our minds off of a lot of stuff because my friend uh she works so many hours at her job and she really needed that break and I needed the break and my other friend she needed the break, so that was really a good mental wellness day for us.
Good. And you
Yep.
guys should have them often because they're needed. Like you said, one's working a lot. You got a lot going on. Everybody has a lot going on. So
Yeah,
just taking moments out to decompress and withdraw is essential to you remaining, well, not really remaining, but continuing on doing what you're doing because you have
that's
to
true.
rejuvenate. Not you'll just deplete yourself.
Right.
So that
Yeah.
was a great thing. It's a great
Yeah.
thing.
Yeah, yeah, definitely have to do that.
Yeah.
I'm finding myself trying to do that more often because, we can get to the point where we start secluding ourselves and we get so caught up in our own personal, issues and stuff. But there's a whole world out there. We gotta live, we
Absolutely.
gotta, yeah, we gotta live. As a matter of fact, I'm thinking about, I don't know if I'm going to be starting this year or next year. Probably next year, I'm going to start doing a lot of traveling, because there's so many places I want to go. And get my passport ready, and I'm ready to roll and start traveling again. Because I haven't
Listen,
really yet traveled in a while. So, yeah.
yeah, and that too is essential, just to break away from your environment. Even
Yeah.
if, like, different countries are great, but even if you can't get to a different country right away, you can always do Miami, you can always do Vegas, just something, within the states, even Puerto Rico, that's still considered the states. Just
Yeah.
something to change your environment
Yeah.
and just get a new surrounding, because for me personally, that's how I can regroup when I
Mm-hmm.
retract and I'm
Mm-hmm.
somewhere different and I'm breathing away from work, away from kids, away from responsibilities. It's just you,
Right.
food, alcohol, friends,
Mm-hmm.
dance floor, and that's all
Yep.
you need. Like,
Yep.
and
Yeah.
at the end of that, you come back and you're like, you're pumped, you're ready. Like, all right, I'm rejuvenated, I'm ready to go. And
Yeah.
but that recharge is everything. It's everything.
Yeah. Yeah, it really is. It really is. And I'm getting to the point where I'm starting to get used to that now, to the point where I can start getting out a lot more. Because I was recovering, like we spoke in the last few episodes, I had been recovering from my injury. So I was limited for a while. So now that I'm walking a lot better, and my leg is moving a lot better, I'm getting out a lot more now.
Good. I'm proud
So,
of you,
you know,
Crystal.
yeah, once I get off this cane, it's gonna be on and popping. I probably ain't gonna be able to slow down now. Then,
I'd be like, Dad, where you go? You supposed to be here for an interview. Where you?
yeah,
I'm in Italy. I'm like, oh heck no.
I'm telling you. Oh my God, when you go through an injury, it could put you in a depression, a deep depression. Because
Yeah.
I was depressed, off and on when I was going through the recovery. Because the first thing that went through my mind was the fact that I was limited and I couldn't go anywhere and move. Um, and I thought I wasn't going to never be able to walk again. That was another thing that had went through my mind. I was like, am I ever going to walk again? Because I got hurt really, really bad. And I got plates in my arm. I got screws in my hip. So I got really hurt. I hurt really bad. So it took me a while to recover. I had to
Okay.
learn how to do everything all over again. I had to learn how to
Really.
walk again. I mean, I remember the days where I was in the hospital, and I couldn't no, when this is when I got home. When I got home, I couldn't even wipe myself. I couldn't clean myself. I had to have somebody come here and clean me and this and that. I mean, it was a very traumatic situation that I went through, and I talk about it a lot because talking about it, it just it makes me feel better when I talk about it. But I
Right.
had went through a like a depression going through that recovery process too.
Yeah.
Because like I say, I'm one of those people who always used to go all the time. So when I got limited and I couldn't do anything, I was like, oh my God, my life just changed in an instant, just like that. Like you could walk out your door and I get up to go to work and did not know I was going to end up in the hospital. I didn't know I was going to get hurt. So life is so precious. It's like if you can walk out your door and don't even know if you're going to come back home.
Yep.
So
That's so true.
it's
Life is so
yeah,
precious and it's delicate.
it, it,
But I just want to
it
say I'm
is.
glad that you sustained your injuries. I'm glad that you're in a much better place. And we just never know sometimes, like injury is not good, right? But
Right.
maybe
Yeah.
God, like, did you ever think about it in terms of like maybe God needed you to sit down for a bit so you
Mm,
can come into whom He's destined you to be? Because if we're constantly moving, we can't
hmm
hear Him, we can't follow Him,
That's
right?
true. That's
So
true.
sometimes He'll do something, He'll allow us to get into some stuff, but He won't kill us. You know what I
Right.
mean? He won't
Right.
be to the point where you're just never going to walk again. You had to relearn things, but I think that you also learned a lot about yourself. You started your
Mm,
business,
I did. I did.
right? So there
Yeah.
is some good that came from it. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? And
It
the good
was.
thing is you have all of your working limbs and everything's back, functioning. So like that's a
hmm
huge blessing.
Yes. Yes. It really is a blessing because, like you said, I was able to, learn a lot. I the one thing I like about, being by myself is I get to learn a lot about
Mhm.
myself, and it forces you to be focused,
Yes.
on
Yes.
things that you're trying to accomplish in life. Because for me, I know I can't have a lot of distraction around me, you know, um, when I'm trying to accomplish some goals,
Right. Right.
So going through what I went through, it sat me down for a while. It made me just sit still and say, okay, you need to heal from the injury. Now you need to find something to keep your mind occupied. And that's
Right.
what I had to do. I had to find something to keep my mind occupied, because I'm just, I'm one of those people who just don't like to uh be stable in one place for too long, so that's what
Yeah.
it was for me, but it's a blessing. I just thank God that I'm alive, because I
Right.
could have been killed,
Right.
so that's the blessing within itself. So
Absolutely.
yeah,
Absolutely.
yeah,
And the
yeah.
topic of our conversation is the constant struggle of depression while maintaining a positive headspace. And I think that you basically just ran into that by
Mm-hmm.
allowing us to see that, the way you were dealing with that depression was keeping
Yeah,
yourself busy. And we all know that an idle mind is the devil's playground. And if you
that's true.
spend too much time that's not um, productive,
Right.
that depression could have really did you in.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because once those
Yeah.
psychological effects starts playing in our heads daily, in and out,
Mm-hmm.
sometimes, some people succumb to that depression,
Yeah.
but you
Yeah.
rose above that, and
Yes.
I'm glad that you
Yeah.
were able to do that, because that's a strength. A lot of people can't do that. So that's
That's
that's amazing.
that's true. That is so true. You gotta, and it was the help. It was through the help of God too, because I opened up my Bible and I just started reading scriptures, and I started having Bible studies again. With some of the sisters in my congregation, and because after I went through what I went through, I had promised God that I was going to give Him my life for saving my life. Because my family could have been going to a funeral. So
Absolutely.
it's a blessing to be able to come up out of that. And I believe that my purpose, it helped me find my purpose in life too. Like with the podcast, just being able to help people who are going through, mental health issues. Because trauma affects us in all different kind of ways.
Yes, it
It
does.
really does. It affects us in different ways. It could be from, like I said, an injury. It could be from things that you've dealt with within the household, how you grew up, or things like that. It can affect us in different ways, and you really have to be mentally strong to be able to get through a lot of the trauma. With the
Right.
help of counseling, with some counseling, and just being able to talk to people in therapy and stuff like that. So, that helped
Absolutely.
me. I was in therapy for like a year, physical therapy,
Mhm.
to learn how to walk. And then I had to do mental therapy for like 10 weeks.
Okay.
So it's been a long journey. A
Absolutely.
long journey, I'm telling you. Although I got all these screws and stuff in my body, I just blessed that I'm here. I'm blessed that I'm
Absolutely.
still, yeah, I'm
And
blessed
that
that I'm
your mind is still intact and you're still in your right
yeah,
mind. And I
yeah,
kind of want to add to what you just said. The awareness is everything, right? Because so often I know I'm one of them. Prior to my journey, I
yeah,
wasn't cognizant. I was just living life, just doing what I wanted to do. I wasn't, really in tune with myself. I wasn't really in tune with understanding that I had some traumas that
mm,
needed to be rectified because I was living through those traumas and not
traumas.
my authentic self,
Mm-hmm.
right? And sometimes it takes something excruciating or, very a big situation in order for you to get it. Sometimes
Mm-hmm.
God has to sit us down, and that's the only way we can hear Him is, and when you go through certain things, you need Him. So you
Mm,
start to rely on Him, and then He starts to unveil and He starts to direct and
right.
support. So again, God breaks us gracefully.
Mm-hmm.
It's no fun going through it.
Right.
It is
Yeah.
not. But the reward is so worth it when you
That's
do
true.
come out of it, right?
Mm-hmm. Yep. Yeah, it is. The reward is really worth it. I'm telling you, because
Yeah.
it helped me learn a lot about myself. It just helped me get myself in a space where I could just think about things and just think about life and how precious life is, and how,
It's
you know, it's, yeah, it's like, it's so precious. So, I just try to keep myself in a positive frame of mind and just not go into I try to do things positive and just try to keep a lot of negative energy from around me and just, to keep myself mentally from going deep into that depression again, or thinking about the
right.
trauma that happened. Because for a while I had PTSD. It was crazy. I mean, when I first got home, it was oh my god. My family was like, okay, we gonna have to catch her on the other side.
Dang.
They was like, we gonna have to catch her on that when she get off that medication, because I was doing some, PTSD is nothing to play with. It was
It
like,
really isn't.
yeah, it was like I started changing my locks on my door when I got home, and I didn't want to be around nobody. It was just like, oh, and then as time was going by, I started getting out. I started feeling like I was getting back to my normal self again. So
Yeah.
yeah, it was definitely a journey, and it was a learning experience, and I don't think I would ever want to go back into any place that any kind of warehouse, because that's why I worked at. It was in a warehouse. I would never. I don't think I would ever want to. Like now, I'm scared to even go into a Lowe's or a Home Depot because
Really.
they have those pallets in there, and every time I walk her in there in places like that, I just be looking up thinking something gonna fall on me. But
Right.
now it's like I'm starting to get past that a little bit now. It's not as bad
Good.
as it was before.
Good.
But yeah,
Well,
that was,
everything in life is a process, right? So
yeah.
while you're still, dealing with some of the PTSD from your accident, I
Hmm.
say be kind to yourself and
Yeah.
don't beat yourself up because you feel
Right.
like that. It's post traumatic stress disorder. So if
Hmm.
that's something that happened to you, of
Hmm.
course you're conscious of it, right?
Right.
But getting beyond it is going to be a process. But in
Hmm.
that process, acknowledge what you
Right.
feel, how you feel, and be okay with that. And just
Right.
know that eventually when you get to a state of comfortability, you'll be fine and you'll be able to walk in there. You'll still be conscious.
Yeah.
You still might
Right.
look up, but it
Yeah.
won't make your heart beat. It won't make your palms sweat or whatever, you know,
Right.
uh, whatever symptom comes from that accident.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's a
Yeah.
process.
Yeah, it is a process, but I'm noticing that now. I'm at the point where I can like the other day I was in a car with somebody and we was going under this construction site, and I was looking up. I seen the on like on 95 on the highways where they be having all this construction, and they be having
Mhm.
the machines up there, and I'm thinking to myself, oh Lord, we got to go underneath that thing. So I'm looking up and I'm like, Lord, let's hurry up and get from underneath here. But
Right, right,
I was worse than that. But now it's not. Now it's at the point where I'm just, I can get through it now. It's not as
yeah,
devastating as it was before, because it
right,
happened so fast. It was like everything happened just so fast. It was like it seemed like it was a nightmare. Like it did really happen.
yeah,
I'm like, oh my god. I don't know if
yeah,
my body went in shock or what, but it just
probably.
happens. It just happened so fast. It just taught me that life is, like you just know when you walk out your door, you just don't know if you're gonna come back. Like I
Very
was
real
like,
statement.
yeah, like 2 months I was away. I had to go from
Yeah.
one hospital to another. It was my body went through so much. And I just thank God that he got me through it.
Well, you
He
look
got
amazing. I mean, I would never
yeah,
know your story unless you told it. We're
yeah,
Instagram friends. I be seeing you cutting the rug and you
yeah,
dancing. I would never know it. So,
yeah,
just be able to see your recovery and just see where you are. I mean, again, I didn't know you at that time,
right.
but hearing your story and seeing where you are now, I think that you are, very inspirational, and I think that someone can really learn from you, because you just never know who's occupying those shoes right now, who
That's
needs to
true.
hear what you just said, and
That's true.
get to give
Yeah.
them the motivation to be like, okay, I'm going to get beyond this because she did it. So I
Mhm.
know I can do it. I know it's possible. So that's
Mhm.
very it's very inspirational, and
Yeah.
I commend you, and I
Thank
want you
you.
to keep on dancing. You gotta
Yeah.
celebrate that, honey. Like
Yeah. 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 That's why even though now I still work out, I still work my legs out a lot. As a matter of fact, tomorrow I'm going to go to the gym and get on the treadmill and keep working my legs, get my legs moving to the point where hopefully I can get off this cane. I still have a little limp, but I'm still working on that. But I just think I was determined not to let myself. I was determined not to give up, and just be like, okay, I'm done. I'm not going to go no further than this, because I'm very determined person, and I was like, I'm not going to give up. I'm going to work hard and get myself back to where I was as far as I can, and just keep it moving.
yeah,
I just didn't want to sit back and just feel sorry for myself. I was like, you know what, Crystal? Okay, it's not now. It's time for you to start working. Yeah, start getting
absolutely
on, start getting in that gym. Start moving them legs.
right.
Start getting
You
your
know, you
body
don't
going.
realize it until you right, and you don't
Yeah,
really recognize it until something traumatic happens, right?
that's true.
So it's like you said, it's just funny how things happen in the blink of an eye, and it changes the entire direction of your life. And
It does.
it's so easy for people to fall into a depression, and
Yeah,
they lose that battle within
yeah.
themselves, because everything's mind over matter. The fact that you said you're a very determined person meant
Mm,
that you set in your head that was your injury was not going to defeat you, but you were
mm,
going to defeat it. And once you put that into your mind, you're
right.
able to actually work toward that and execute it, because you already put it in your head that this is not the end all for me. But
Yeah,
some people don't
yeah.
have that determination or that drive, and they feel so, oh my God, this is the end. Why did this happen
Mm,
to me? And why is this? And I'm not knocking people like that, right?
right.
But it just shows the stark differences in a person's mindset. Mind over
Yeah,
matter is everything. You know what I
that's
mean?
true. Yeah, yeah. Like you were saying before, you were saying how powerful the mind is and how powerful the brain in it. And it is, because our brain is determines everything as far as the rest of our body. If our mind ain't right, it can deteriorate our body. You
Everything
really have to.
follows it.
Yeah, everything follows it. You really have to be strong mentally. I mean, especially not just with an injury, but just with life in general. Because we always dealing with different things in life. There's always something that's coming at us unexpectedly, and I know a lot of my strength I get from my mother. My mother was a strong woman. She was very strong. I don't care what came her way. She was always able to get over whatever obstacle that came, in her way. And I think a lot of my strength come from her too. But
Good.
your mind, you have to really mentally be strong to get through life situations. And
Right.
yeah, and that's what I
Absolutely.
had to do. Yeah, I was like, I'm not gonna give up. I'm not gonna feel sorry for myself. I'm not gonna give up on myself. I'm just gonna mentally be strong and fight this whole situation. So
Absolutely. And
yeah, yeah.
at the end of that outcome, you come out so much better because you have a new appreciation for life. Like,
Oh
one thing
yeah.
is, anytime I pray in the morning, I always thank God for the ability to be able to walk, talk, breathe, eat on my own,
Mm-hmm.
drive my car, because these are gifts that
Mm-hmm.
not everybody has. Some people are confined to a wheelchair. Some people was
That's
never
true.
able to walk.
That's
Some
true.
people, have brain injuries and now they're not themselves. And
Mm-hmm.
some people need to be, they have the feeding tube. That is
Mm-hmm.
not my reality. So I just
Right.
want you to know that I'm super grateful for that.
Yeah,
I don't take that lightly, because it can be going just like that,
that's true. That is so
right?
true. Yep.
A lot of
Yeah.
people, such as yourself, experience that
Mm-hmm.
temporary paralysis where you weren't able to walk and you weren't able
Mm-hmm.
to do the things that you typically do.
Yeah.
But I do realize that God gives his strongest soldiers the strongest battles because he knows that we're going to overcome. It's okay for us to process how we feel in that moment, right? Because we're still
Mm-hmm.
human and God expects that.
That's
That's
right.
we're human beings, we're not computers.
Mm-hmm.
But we don't sit there and wallow. I know for me, I don't sit like there's a problem. I'm
Right.
gonna process it for a bit. I'm gonna think
Right.
about it, but I'm not gonna stay there. And now it's time to
Right.
be proactive. What am I going
That's
to do
right.
about it? How am I
Yeah.
going to fix this?
Yep.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
And
Yep.
that's half your battle.
Yep.
Is reconstructing your mind and setting your
Mm-hmm.
mind to a execution phase and be like, listen, tunnel vision. This is what I'm going to do. This is what I'm
Mm-hmm.
not going to do, and I'm going to go to and it sometimes it takes a while, but we get
Mm-hmm.
through it. But we are
Yeah.
so stronger at
Yeah.
the end.
Yeah. Yeah. That's true. We are. We are. You just can't, just give up on life. I was just, determined because I seen, matter of fact, my neighbor, he got injured really bad and he just gave up on himself. And he got to the point where he started gaining all his weight because your mind can affect everything else. He just gave up and he started gaining weight, and he just, and the next thing you know, he ended up in a nursing home. And that's why I was like, no, this ain't gonna be me. I was like, nope. I was
For
like,
real.
I was like,
Because you see it. You
I'm too
see, you
young
bear
for
witness to it. Yeah.
this.
Yeah.
I'm like, I'm too young to be ending up in a nursing home right now. I'm like, I
Yeah.
was like, no. I said, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to work hard. And I didn't miss a day of physical therapy. I mean, for a whole year, I went every single 3 times, 3 times a week. I
Okay.
was going to physical therapy. That's how determined I was to get back to myself again.
Impressive.
But but yeah, yeah, I still got battle wounds. But
Course. Listen, we all got them. We
we
all
got
got
the
them.
battle wounds.
But you gotta look.
We,
Sometimes you gotta look back at those battle wounds to help you
yeah,
be for you to see how far you've come. Right.
yeah, yeah,
To something you excuse me.
yeah.
To something you just said about giving up. A few years ago. Sorry.
Like,
A few years ago, I was working with this guy, and he was divorced. He had 2 kids who didn't really like. He didn't have a relationship with them like that. They just like always just wanted money or something. I know
mm-hmm,
at some point he began living in his car, and there was also times that we would find out that he was staying in the office, right? So
wow.
yeah, and then he had developed cancer.
Mm,
After that, you saw a stark decline. Like he
wow.
gave up. He probably felt like, I don't have a wife. My kids don't talk to me. I don't have family. And he had a really good job making, and this was 2012, 2013. He was making at least 80 grand at that time. At that
Mm,
time, that was a decent salary. Now it's a little like, hold up, I might need another
right,
50 on top of that. But back
right.
then, he was okay from
Mm-hmm,
outside looking in, right?
right.
But you never really know what somebody's dealing with. And mentally, once they become defeated, you can see the decline. And he
Mm-hmm.
declined and he perished shortly after that. So even with
Wow.
his condition, he
Yeah.
was going to chemo. I think he had like diabetes, and they were telling him that he couldn't eat certain things. That
Right.
man was not listening. He was coming in with all types of junk and stuff he shouldn't eat. But I in my mind, I'm thinking he felt like he's about to check out anyway. So why even live
Right.
by these rules? I might as well just do me because I'm about to be out of here. And he did shortly
Wow.
after. And that's why people have to understand you really have to be mindful of what you allow to permeate your brain because
Mm-hmm.
everything else follows. This
Mm-hmm.
3 pound organ is the
Mm-hmm.
most powerful, the
Mm-hmm.
most powerful organ in our bodies, and
That's true.
everything else follows.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yep. That's why they didn't want us to learn how to read. You ever think about that? Like back in the slavery time, that's why they didn't want slaves to learn. They didn't want them to read books because our knowledge is power, and you have so much. Your mind, like you said, your mind is so powerful, and
Yeah,
it could do a whole lot for you as far as your life is concerned. Like
yeah,
I
absolutely.
just, yeah, I said
Did
to
you ever
myself,
hear?
Mm-hmm.
I'm sorry, it's like a lag. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to sound like I'm talking over you. Go ahead, Crystal.
Yeah, I was saying that yeah, I believe that's why, that's one of the reasons why they didn't want us, our ancestors, to learn how to read, because they felt like if they learned how to read, that they would become too so knowledgeable to where they wouldn't even need to be be slaves. They could go off on their own and create their own businesses, and create, do things for themselves. And the mind is very powerful, and it can affect everything around you. It really could, even your
It
body.
does. It
Yeah,
does.
it really
It does.
does. Yeah.
Do you ever think about, like, how I know back in the, like, not now, because if I'll just call out, but back in the day, like, if I didn't feel like being at work, I would tell my friend, call me out of work. And I would
Right.
start faking like I'm sick. Like, I'll be like, I don't feel good. And then
Right.
before you know it, you really feel like you don't feel good because you're
Mm-hmm.
telling yourself that you don't feel good just
Mm-hmm.
to get out of work. But then once you're out of it, you're back to fine. But
Yeah.
that's something that always stayed with me, because I'm like, when you tell yourself something, you
Mm-hmm.
believe it. So if you're
Mm-hmm.
telling yourself you don't feel well, and then you're
That's true.
starting not to feel well, it's because you're telling yourself that, and now your brain is making the rest of your body feel like you don't feel well.
That's true.
So what we tell ourselves, what we allow to stay in there and remain is paramount,
Yeah.
because it
Yeah.
can it changes everything. It changes everything. And
Mm-hmm.
I will be interested in knowing. So when you were struggling, borderline depression, what were some of the uh things you did to remain in a positive headspace? Like, how did you conquer that?
Well, what I did was I started. I kept. I wouldn't allow anything, any kind of negative energy around me. Um, especially when I was going through my recovery, my physical recovery. Uh, I needed that peace of mind for my body to heal too. So
Right.
what I would do is I would do things like I would read. Sometimes I would pick up a book and read, or I would do some things to keep myself occupied. Like I said, I'm going to start a clothing brand. I'm going to go ahead and start a podcast. I did all of this during the time of my recovery. When I got further in my recovery, I was like, okay, all right, now you're in the house. You can't really go anywhere. What could you do? And I was
Right.
like, okay, I could focus on my clothing brand, or I could focus on my podcast. So that's what kept me in a positive frame of mind. And the fact that with the podcast, I'm able to help other people, by bringing on experts and people like yourself, to
Oh,
give some, reliable information to people, who probably would need, the information that they wouldn't be able to get anywhere else. Because these conversations are so important. It's so important for us to have our own platform so we can really talk about a lot of things that you don't hear on
yeah.
NBC or CNN or Fox News, or we get to talk about the Black experience and things that we go through. So that's what I did, to keep myself in a positive frame of mind. I was like, I'm gonna go ahead and start my podcast, or I'm
Right.
gonna go ahead and focus on my clothing brand. I was like, here it is, I almost got killed working for somebody else. I said, the heck with this, I'm gonna go ahead and start my own business.
Right.
I was
No,
like,
for real.
yeah.
You know, you needed that to happen to push you, because sometimes when we're comfortable, we
Mhm.
don't move. We're comfortable, we're content.
Yep.
And we're not here to just be content. We're here to grow and to
Yeah.
elevate and help other people. That's what our the point of us being here is. And
Mhm.
sometimes God has to push us out of that comfort level, or excuse
That's
me, that
true.
comfort zone, to get us to become, or to mutate who we're destined to be, right?
Mhm.
So, to your point, what you said, like, I also commend you for, doing a podcast again, because they are informational. And, within the Black and Brown community, mental health was always stated that it did not apply to us.
Yeah.
So we did not speak about a lot of things. And now,
That's,
with myself and you having platforms,
mhm.
and other people alike having these platforms, it gives certain people a voice. It gives certain people hope. It gives certain people, even the people who don't choose to speak out, they now see that this is now something that is okay, and it is humanly normal, right? The way we were living was not normal. Suppression is not normal. You're not
That's
meant
not
to
normal.
suppress. No, you're not. We can do. We can. What's the word I'm looking for?
Yeah.
We can go through things. That's not the word, but that we can go through things, right, and process them. But it's not meant to remain idle in our bodies and in our minds, because because life, like I said before, like life is never going to stop lifing, right?
That's right.
So the more things that you are exposed to, the more things that you go through, the more you're piling on unresolved issues.
That's true.
And that's why some people are so quick to anger. Some people are so quick to shoot, because they have so much pent up emotion that they don't know what to do with it.
That's true.
Right? So if we have these platforms, if we have these safe spaces for people that, is a non-judgmental platform, and it's a safe space for people, it'll help people begin to start unpacking and to start living a lot lighter. Because I know after my journey, like I am a lot lighter than what I was, because I had a whole bunch of stuff on me that I didn't even realize. But now I understand what was holding me back. But now I feel better. So I want to help other people feel better too. But they got to become aware first, which is why we're doing what we're doing. So we can help people to become aware that they may not be adequately dealing with some of the things that they've experienced in life.
That's true. That's true. Yeah. Yeah. Because we have to, especially in the Black community, we got to realize that it's okay to not be okay. And it's okay to talk about whatever issues you're dealing with on the inside. You don't have to hold them in. That's not normal, because it's not normal at all. And this is why it's so much crime and so much stuff taking place, because it all stems from mental health. All of this stuff stems from mental health. And if we don't deal with those issues, it could get worse, and you could get yourself in a situation that you can't get out of. You might end up killing somebody that you didn't mean to kill, and then you in jail for life. Or you might end up doing something that you regret later on. So it's okay to say you're not okay. It's okay to talk about what you're dealing with. It's okay to go to counseling. I know those are things that we didn't grow up around, or our family members didn't do, that we weren't accustomed to. But it's okay to get mental help. And it doesn't mean that you're crazy, because that's the first thing that Black folks think when they hear the word therapy or psychiatrist. They think the word crazy. I ain't crazy, but it doesn't mean you're crazy. It don't mean you're crazy at all. It just means that you need somebody to talk to. And if you don't feel comfortable talking to certain people, go to a professional, to where you feel comfortable, but you don't have to hold those things in. It's not healthy at all. It's not healthy mentally or physically. Yeah.
Suffering is silence.
Yeah, it's
later
not healthy.
It can later result in a crisis, result to a crisis level.
That's true.
Because you're holding so much in. Pressure bursts pipes. And if you got so much happening and you're not able to process, again, that was because of what we were taught. We were taught incorrectly. And this is not to, disrespect our ancestors or who raised us, because they were only doing what they were taught.
That's
but
true.
Now that we understand what's right and what's wrong, it's up to us to break those generational curses within our children. Say, hey, if he's a boy, he's crying, don't tell him, shut up, stand up, be a man, because he doesn't know what a man is. He's a kid.
That's right.
Ask why is he crying? Now, I'm not saying, just be okay with him whining all day, but ask him what's wrong. Allow him to express himself. Make him comfortable from a child expressing himself. And the woman that he married, she'll thank you down the long run, because he knows he has emotional intelligence. He knows how to articulate what he's feeling instead of suppressing it. Right?
That's right. Yeah.
And it has a lot to do with our environment. Even
Mhm.
back in the day is what goes on in my house stays in my house. So
Mhm.
you weren't able to talk about if something was happening to you or your
Right.
mom or your dad or your sibling. You weren't
That's
able
true.
to talk about it. So these are
That's
all
true.
things that remain inside of us that
Mhm.
are not meant to remain. They could stay there for learning purposes, right?
Right.
But not to harbor those toxic feelings because
Yeah.
it
Yeah.
really turns into a crisis level down the line.
Yeah. It sure will. Yeah. It sure will. Yeah. Your emotions can really take you to a different another level. So it's
Woo!
really important. Like you said, it's really important to really, you know, get help and talk to somebody,
Yes.
Um, and then it comes down to also like I'm glad another reason why I'm glad we have these platforms is because we can educate people on what mental health is, because a lot of people are probably dealing with emotional issues that they don't understand. They might be holding something they don't understand, like, okay, what am I dealing with? Why am I feeling this way? Why am I so emotional? Why am I so angry? Why am I so pissed off about this and that? So it's good that we have platforms like this so we can educate people and let them know that it's okay to feel the way that you feel. But it's even better if you get the help and you talk to somebody about it, and rather than just hold it in and let it explode to where it gets to the next level. You don't want it to get like that.
Right.
Um,
Which is
I,
why we have to continue to normalize these types of conversations because they're
yeah,
vital, right?
yeah, very.
People need to become comfortable with
Mm,
expressing themselves and knowing that therapy, although that's what we were taught growing up,
yeah,
therapy is effective as long as you do your due diligence. As I said on your platform, there's
yeah,
criteria. You got to develop
right.
a criteria. You know,
Mm,
um, speaking about a man, you're not emasculated if you talk about how you feel. Like you're
right,
actually a strong man because you understand that that needs a release and that it
right,
shouldn't remain inside. Women,
yeah,
that does not mean that you are not strong
right,
because you're talking about how you feel and you want to get help. That means
right.
that you are strong because you understand the need and you
Hmm.
know that you're no good to not only your children, your husband, or anyone around you, but you're no good to yourself when
That's
you
true.
are not in the right state of mind and when you're angry because everybody around you feels it. The
Yeah,
kids, because you're yelling at them, you're taking it out on them, the husband,
yeah,
you don't want them to touch you, you don't want them to talk to you. It's
that's
because you
true.
have so much. And women, we deal with a lot because with the women, we're working, we're not just housewives, we're
Right.
working, we're managing the kids, we're doing parent teacher conferences, we're doing sports, we're
Hmm.
doing trying to do our own thing, and then you wake
Yeah.
up cooking, cleaning, and you wake up and you do it all over again. So
Hmm.
sometimes women pack on a lot.
We
So
do.
right. So I
Yeah.
advocate for time
Yeah.
out with your friends. Take a quick little trip. Do a
Hmm.
youth day. Take yourself on a date just so you
Yeah.
can replenish. Because again, when you have all of that inside you,
Hmm.
you're not an effective parent. I'm not going to say you don't love
Hmm.
your kids, but
Right.
when you basically half-assing it because of
Hmm.
all of the stuff you have on you, it
Hmm.
only affects your children. It affects your relationship. Same
That's
thing with
true.
men. If you got so much on you that you don't know how to discuss, your children are suffering as a result of that because now they're seeing a man that don't know how to articulate how he feels. He
That's
doesn't
true.
know how to escape what he's
Yeah.
feeling in his wife. Now they're bumping heads because she wants him to talk and he doesn't know how because he was told to shut up when he was a kid.
Hmm.
He was
Yeah.
told don't cry, you're not a man. He
Or
don't know.
make you, yeah, or you a punk if you talk about it, or you a
Yes,
sissy, or
yes, yes,
no, it's
yes,
you're a human being. We are humans. We
yes.
supposed to feel we have feelings, and it's okay to talk about our
Emotions.
feelings. Yeah,
Absolutely.
it
I
doesn't mean
encourage
yeah, it don't mean that you less of a man because you talking about how you feel. I would prefer for you to talk about how you feel
that.
rather than hold it in. You know what I'm saying?
I tell you.
Take it out on me or something.
Because you ain't taking that out on me, baby. No.
I know that's right.
Honey, we gonna talk about this thing.
That's right. We're gonna have to talk because you ain't taking this out on me. We
Listen,
don't.
boy,
Yeah,
you better get it right.
yeah, yeah. We have to really be. It's okay to be in tune with our emotions and and to talk about, sometimes I'll go to a scripture too. Sometimes if I'm feeling a certain way or whatever issue I might be dealing with for that day, because you can always find any answer you need. You can always find that answer in the Bible. I don't care what it is.
Yes,
You can always find the answer in the scripture. I'm
That's
telling you. I mean, if you pissed off, I mean, you just type that into the scriptures and it'll take you to a scripture, how to deal with it, and things like that. So I'm quick to go to the scriptures real quick, when I'm dealing with certain issues and things like that. That's what helps get me through a lot of things. So it's
See,
a
a lot
blessing.
of people don't have that.
Yeah.
See, that's the thing
Yeah.
too. Like people don't have faith.
Yeah.
They don't know what to believe in or how to believe. They're not
Right.
grounded, right? That's where
Right.
the anchor comes from in
That's
the
true.
experience logo, the
Mhm.
anchor, because I understand that He is and was my anchor when I was
Right.
going through it. So
That's
I'm
true. Yeah.
anchored in God and I rely on Him. So when I don't understand certain things, or if I'm feeling a certain way, I'll pray
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
God will give me understanding. He'll clear away the debris. You know what I mean? So like people
Yeah.
also have to become, connected to whomever or whatever they believe. I'm not here to judge
Right.
and tell them they have to believe X, Y, and Z, but you should believe
Yeah.
in a higher power because that
That's right.
helps you navigate this world because you
Yeah.
are relying on a higher being to help
Yeah.
you, to be essentially your compass through this life because we're all just treading through it.
Yep. That's true. Yeah. Yeah. Yep. I mean, it might not take the problem away, but the Bible helps us deal with it. It helps
Absolutely.
us, teaches us how to deal with different issues and how to get through it.
Yep.
So
Give us insight.
yeah. So I'm quick to really go to the scriptures now, because there's so many things that we just don't have control of. And if we let these things consume us mentally, man, it could really break us down. So
And it will. And it
yeah,
will
it'll break you down. I mean, life will break you down if you
break
allow.
down.
Yeah. So and the Bible really helps you get through a lot of it.
It
It
does.
really does. Yeah.
It
I'm
does.
telling you.
It really does.
Yeah.
God is amazing.
Yeah.
I will never ever leave him. I pray to God he never leaves me because I need him.
I'm
Uh,
telling you. Me too.
like I literally need him. That 3
Yeah.
years really showed me that I don't even want to do this by myself.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
need God.
Yeah.
So I just want to encourage people. And again, when we go through what we go through and we come out different, we have to also be mindful of who and what we represent. We represent God now. So we
Right.
have to be mindful of what we put out. I'm
That's
always going to
true.
be positive. A lot of people may not like it, but I don't really
Yeah.
care. It's not if you don't like it, then because
Yeah.
positivity don't really thrive in today's society.
No.
If you
It's
post
all it's a
something
whole bunch.
negative, you're going
Yeah.
to get millions of views. You
And I
post something
noticed
positive, you get two.
that's true. People love negativity. People love negative energy. Even if you post something negative on your social media page. Now people might not, you could post something positive all day, every day. As soon as you post something negative, everybody on your page.
Yep.
They love negativity. People love negativity, but they don't want nothing. And I call that misery loves company. That's what I call it.
No, for real.
Misery
For
loves
real. Like, I
company.
don't understand it. I
I
don't
don't.
understand it.
Yeah,
Like negativity doesn't make me thrive,
yeah,
but it does for some people,
it does.
it is
It
sad
does.
because you see it. But again, the good thing about me is I don't care about views, I don't care about likes. If
That's
I'm
right.
able to reach one person, two
That's
people,
true.
or help change their perception, I'm
Yeah,
doing my due diligence. It's not
yeah.
about going viral, but you just see the stark differences in positivity versus negativity, and it's
Hmm.
sad. But
It
again,
is.
it's all about helping people who
Yep.
are occupying our shoes or who will occupy them at some point,
Right.
and just giving them the education, the knowledge, the
That's true.
encouragement, the support
Yep.
that they need.
Yeah.
And I feel like that's really all that we can do. And that's really
Hmm.
all I want to do is help people. So
Yeah.
people may not like my positive energy all the time, but
Right.
I
But
don't know
oh
what to
well.
do. Change the
Yeah. I'd be
channel.
like, okay, go to where the negative energy at.
Seriously.
You ain't gonna
Right.
find it. If you want it over, you ain't gonna find it over here.
At all. So if you're watching for the wrong thing because you ain't
That's
never
right.
seen nothing crazy over here. So,
Yeah. Yeah.
but so to
Yeah.
recap, basically, so when you were going through what you were going through. Was more so making sure that you stayed around positive people or positive things. You didn't allow
Yeah.
negativity to permeate your space.
Yeah.
You went into the scripture, you got your
Yeah.
mind right and allowed yourself to understand that you were going to defeat this situation. The situation was
Yeah.
not going to defeat you.
Yeah,
Is
because I
there
had to let my
anything else?
I knew I had to let my body heal because I had staples all the way up here down my arm, all the way down my legs. They cut me like, oh, I had a lot of healing to do around my body. And I was like, okay, I don't want no, when I was going through when I got home, my family and my friends, they was coming by and they would check on me and help me out here and there. But then it was at the point where, okay, I need to heal now. I need my peace. I need my space. I need my body to recuperate. And I can't have anything negative around me, for my body to heal. So
Right.
that's what I had to do. I had to mentally just keep myself in a positive space. And, like I said, once I got further to where I started walking again, because I was on the walker, went from a wheelchair to a walker. I said, you know what? Now I got to find something to keep my mind busy. Let me go back and do a podcast because I used to do freelance journalism a long time ago. I used to
Mhm.
go to a bunch of concerts, interview so many different, people in the industry, and I had stopped doing it. And then I said, that's what I could do to keep me busy. Let me start my podcast. So, you
Yes.
know, yeah. So I was like, you know what, that's something that I can, just keep me occupied. And then it's informative to where I can give information to like other people, you
Right.
know. And
Right.
so those were the things I had to do to just to stay in a positive frame of mind, was to to just do something to stay, keep my mind occupied. So that's what I did. I was like, okay, I'm not going to let this situation tear me down mentally. I'm going to
Absolutely.
keep my mind strong. Yep. So
Absolutely.
yeah,
Well, I
yep.
want to tell you, you look amazing.
Oh,
Your
thank you so much.
story, you're welcome. Your story is
Thank,
so inspirational, and I guarantee somebody's going to watch this podcast and resonate with you, and you're going to help someone that you may not even ever know.
that's
You know what
true.
I mean? So
That's
I
true.
just want to thank you for sharing your story, for coming on.
Yeah, thank
Mind
you.
matters because our mind does matter, and you
It does.
definitely detailed you gave a lot of good information that
Yeah.
people with no hope or people who don't have a direction could
Right.
now have direction because of your story. So I
Yeah.
thank you so much for your time,
You're
and I hope
welcome.
to have you again in the very,
Yeah.
very near future. But
Yes.
in the meantime, I want to encourage you to keep going. I'm rocking
Okay.
her Fiji Marie.
Fiji Marie.
Yes, yes. I'm rocking her
Yeah.
brand
My,
right
my
now.
my online store is under reconstruction right now, but it'll be up soon. And I got some new stuff coming on in the store, so look out for that for the Fiji Marie line. I just got a new logo, so I'm excited about that. So
Okay, okay,
yeah,
sis.
man, yeah.
And once you
Yeah,
do get the website up, I'll go back and I'll put the link on under this video so people please support. She's a
yeah.
great, great woman, Crystal Hicks. Where can they find you on your social platforms?
They can find me on Let's Talk About This podcast on Instagram. They can find me at Crystal Marie on Facebook, and they can find me my clothing line, FichiMarie.com. That's the clothing line. So they can go there. When the website is back up, they can go on there and start purchasing products and stuff like that. So yeah, yep,
Okay. That's
yeah,
awesome. That is so
yep,
awesome. So make sure you guys look out for Crystal Hicks. Let's talk about this
yep,
podcast. She's
yep,
available on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube. Follow her, subscribe. She's awesome. And
yep.
she does a plethora of topics. It's not just mental health related. She has a whole
Yeah,
host of different topics.
different
So if there's
topics.
something
Yeah,
that we didn't discuss or cover here, go
yeah,
to her
yeah,
YouTube and see. Maybe
yeah,
you'll find something that applies to you. But in the
yeah,
meantime,
yeah,
I thank you guys for watching, and I look forward to another Mind Matters episode shortly.
yeah,
Bye, everyone.
yep.